So let's talk about first back home, or the earlier home, the US. And there too you're seeing a concentration of the Fab 7. That's where the earnings growth is, and that's where all the equity money is finding its way. I mean, you know, we often joke about as to how their quarterly profits are larger than GDPs of a few countries. Do you think that concentration or that fear of the tech bubble, like you rightly highlighted, is unfounded? Or do you sense that not for too long will the Fab 7 remain as Fab?
So it's a fair question. It's something that we think about. I do think that the Fab 7, Mag 7, whatever you call it, that cohort will change over time. Number one, if you look at the number of trillion-dollar companies in the world, aside from Aramco in Saudi Arabia, there aren't any that are outside the U.S. There will be a trillion-dollar market cap company in India someday. I don't think it's listed yet. I don't see it among the current companies, but stay focused on the U.S. for a moment. We have shifted from the top-line earnings growth story being the solo driver of the Big 7, or the Mag 7, Fab 7 in the U.S., to now they're spending a lot of money. What we are looking for are the beneficiaries of that spend. So I think when you look beyond the biggest 7, if you just focus on the top 4 hyperscalers, for example, they've gone from spending $5 to $10 billion a year each to approaching $100 billion each. Now, they need a return on that. Higher returns are probably available for where that money is going. So whether it's semiconductor chips, whether it's memory, and we've benefited from that this year, power, cooling. There's so much focus on AI and advanced computing these days. Our focus is on how are you going to power this? New chip architectures, cooling architectures. And so when you look at that, there will be some very large companies that come out of that, and that's where we're looking.
But do you sense that the investment theme, at least in the U.S. equity markets, will revolve around AI and tech?
Yes.
And there's no other way?
Yes, yes. I see that. It's not going to be services companies. I don't think it's going to be retail. I don't think it's going to be defense or healthcare. There's pressure on those sectors in the U.S. It will be led by tech. And more hardware than software. We see that continuing. I think software is in a difficult position. If you look at, it's not just the Indian IT services companies or the US IT services companies. More broadly, software is under pressure. You and I could have started learning coding in high school or college. Many of those skills would be obsolete today.
Yeah. C++.
Yeah, same. Well, I'm even older, so different languages. But yes, you don't need that today. You don't. Everybody's doing vibe coding these days, and people. That's where the money is. But hardware is very important, and I think still, despite the hype that we've seen, not enough attention is being paid there. The current chip architectures that we have, the current power infrastructure that we have, will not let us get to where we need to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And for that,
why do you say that?
Well, as we were talking offline just before we started, if you look at the first iPhone that came out, 4 GB at the low end, the current one, some of us have the newer one, 2 terabytes of storage.
You do.
I do.
I'm the orange.
I have the orange one.
Yeah.
I have the orange one. It's a little bit bright for my taste, but why not? A little bit different. But from 4 GB to 2 terabytes in one device, it's 500x in 18 years. Then you look at the DRAM that is powering that, the high-speed memory, that has gone up by multiples. If you look at high bandwidth memory, the AI servers, the needs are growing exponentially, but the capacities are growing linearly, which is why then you've seen pricing go up so much. You've seen the memory companies in the US and in South Korea, the earnings expectations over the past 2 years for several of these companies have gone up by 5 to 7x, all largely driven by pricing, because the capacity is not meeting it. The demand is so high. That's just memory. If you're going to have new chip architectures, you need more equipment. And as you have more equipment and you have more devices consuming power and computing data, then you need more energy, more efficient energy systems, power semiconductors. Many of those companies are in Japan, Germany, and the US. And then cooling also, new cooling technologies will be needed. So when you have demand growing exponentially, capacity growing linearly, then in the short term you're going to have these huge spikes in pricing. But in the long term, you need new technologies to keep up, and that's what we're looking at.
So who do you think can lead the hardware piece when it comes to AI and tech? And will it continue to be the US?
No, I don't think so. I just came back from 3 weeks in the U.S. over the summer, and what was surprising to me was the lack of appreciation at a broad-based level, at all strata of academia and in the corporate world, of the advances China is making. It will be the U.S. and China. I don't think it is either or any longer. But China is leading the world in EVs, in energy storage, in robotics, in AI. There are companies that are still exceptional in the U.S., but what I see is the concentration of the focus in China is on these new chip architectures. The fact that they are now telling their companies, you don't need to buy from NVIDIA, we're going to figure this out at home. If you look at total wafer fab expenditures, so this is the etching equipment that makes the semiconductor chips. These machines routinely sell for $10, $50, $100 million. China's share of that market, which is about $100 billion a year, over the past decade has gone from about 5% to 40%. Now that's starting to come off again because they've learned these technologies, and the homegrown companies that started off as small businesses are becoming giants. So China's developing its own standards, and we're headed towards a world in which there will probably be two standards, China's and people aligned to China, and then the U.S. and people aligned to the U.S. Just like the currency system might change, dollar, yuan, that I think over the next few years will change as well. We've seen dollar weakness this year. It's probably not done. In that context, it's interesting that even though the dollar has been weakening against most currencies, the currency here has been weakening as well. I hear it whenever people travel abroad.
Yes.
Everything
it's quite a pinch.
It's getting pinched.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know about the pace of the rupee against the dollar or against other currencies, but dollar weakness, as our base case, it's hard to make predictions, but probably continues.